is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Weapon Collective. My name's Jeff, and we are back down in the Gat Cave. So, over the course of the last few months, I've had several requests for a video in the comment section, and that is for a video on gear. It's obvious I got a bunch of guns. I'm a big gun nut, but what goes along with that is I am a gear nut as well. And part of the process of getting the right gear is, or at least for me, was getting the wrong gear as well. So hopefully by showing you this video, I can help you avoid getting the wrong gear, because that sucks. And I've done it more than once. I've done it 1,000 times. Buying something online, knowing very little about it, so there's very little in the description, thinking it'll work with whatever, especially particularly with holsters, thinking this is gonna work, the holster shows up and it's a dud. So anyway, we're gonna go through my plate carrier, my chest rig, battle belt, holsters, and I am going to save helmet setup, night vision for its own video. I think that would be more beneficial. But the reason I'm finally getting around to doing all this is I have a training course coming up this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that is going to be full kit, going over all this stuff and introducing something I'm not familiar with, radios. So I'm gonna do a real brief overview of my radio setup on my plate carrier, but just forewarned, I have very little experience with radios, and by very little, I mean none. So hopefully I will learn a lot at this course. This is a Tactical Cowboy Training Solutions. I've trained with them a number of times, and I train with them in the gym. Awesome group of dudes. If you don't follow Tactical Cowboy, go check them out. Devin is the guy that runs it over there, and hopefully one day we'll have him on the channel as well. I'm kind of going into this in some aspects, like the radio, totally blind. And so I'm going to show you what I have, like what I've envisioned in my mind, how I should set this up going into the course. And if I make some adjustments, total overhauls, maybe, I will share that with you after the course. But kind of me going into this, what I'm expecting, what I'm anticipating, what I think I might need. And we'll see. Okay, so starting with gear. Gear is one of those topics that is just seemingly never ending. There is so many options out there, just endless amounts of stuff. So what do you need? What don't you need? I can't answer that for you. I'm just going to show you what I have. And I say this sometimes, and it's probably, I don't say it nearly enough. But this is my opinion. This is just what I'm doing. By no means am I an expert. You know, I'm a civilian. I'm just a hobbyist, but I love this stuff. So I'm going to show you what I do, but I have no military experience, no law enforcement experience. I'm just showing you what the civilian guy that is really into this stuff does. So with that being said, let's start with this is kind of going to segue into an earlier video because it's just my EDC. So real quick, show you this, because this is what the gear that I have most often. And it is awesome holster. Unfortunately, it's just never available. It's always out of stock. This is the Antimatter Industries Compact Wing. And I did get something in the comments after my last video, my Glock collection, custom Glock collection. And that was someone asking if I could drop links in, I guess, in the description is where it'll be. So I'm going to do that this time. Unfortunately, some of these links, like this holster, may lead you to an out of stock item, but at least you can get an idea of what it is and take a look at it other than just in my video. So this thing is cool. This sidecar just comes right off very easily. I always leave it on there, but allows me to carry a spare mag. And then of course the gun, there's a whole video showing this, so I'll go through it very quickly. But this is the P365 hybrid, kind of, because it is an X macro size frame. This is the Icarus Precision Air, so it is a polymer frame, which I really like. and it's the X macro size, which allows me to run a 3.1 inch 365 slide on there with the Radian Afterburner compensator and ramjet barrel. This one is in bronze. Then I'm running an Holosun EPS Carry and a Streamlight TLR 7 sub weapon light. Then this one, another cool thing about the Icarus Precision grip is it does have the magwell built in. So then running the Radian base plates on the mags. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but this thing gets covered in lint. So that's how you know someone's really carrying their gun every day. If it's got lint all over it, they probably carry a lot. So just get that out of the way. But if you want a more in-depth look at that, I do have an EDC video up just a couple videos ago. And with that, let's get into the chest rig. This one is a G-code chest rig. I really like my G-code stuff. My battle belt is G-code as well. And they have these really cool scorpion pouches, which I think are just fantastic. They have retention through the bungees on the side, but you can run with these and no issue of them falling out. Good retention on them. But chest rig, I don't have a ton of experience on a chest rig. I rarely use them. If I'm doing something like that, I more often will have a plate carrier, but I don't know. I'm bringing plate carrier and the chest rig to the course. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So let's just see. Let's go through this. So that is the G-code chest rig. I believe it's their Solter's chest rig, and allows you. I have it set up with 2 rifle mags and 2 pistol mags, which I think is kind of a best of both worlds. You can, like my plate carrier, I just have 3 rifle mags. So if I'm running my plate carrier, I have my battle belt. In this one, I would have my battle belt on anyway, no matter what. But this just allows me to get these pistol mags. I can use for a tourniquet. I can use for anything, a knife, multi-tool, something like that. But this setup I just have for, like I said, 2 rifle, 2 pistol. And there's not a lot to it, but you can, you know, they don't move when you run, jump, anything like that. Lot lighter than a plate carrier, obviously, but it's a good alternative, and it kind of just depends on what you're doing. But I don't use this all that much, and you can get the dangle pouch. So I don't know. I am bringing it, like I said, but that's basically the whole overview on this. So that's the chest rig. Kind of real quick, dirty. I mean, not much to it. It's a chest rig. Now let's go through the battle belt. So this is my battle belt. Also G-code. And I think the best way to do this is to tilt the camera. So let's do that. Okay. So this is my battle belt. And you might say, what the hell is going on there? Well, if you've seen any of the videos I've made, I kind of have this homemade, made at home in the garage, kind of half chest rig, half overalls. And it just keeps my belt on better. I can run better with it. Takes kind of some of the weight off onto my shoulders if I'm wearing it on a long day. And I really love this thing. I call them my tactical suspenders, and they are freaking awesome. So maybe not for you, but I dig them. And once again, this is G-code. So I have a very simple setup on here, and we'll kind of go through it starting over here. So the mag pouches, I have, these are G-code mag pouches, also the Scorpion series, two rifle, 2 pistol. And these have been very, very effective for me, and I love them. And then over here I have a little hook, little carabiner for gloves, whatever. And then this thing I absolutely love. So this is super handy for me. And it's a little fishing device that just clips on. Let me show it to you. These are for fishing. But what I did is I put a tool on it. It is just this key ring almost. And I can hang 1 or 2 tools to make adjustments on optics. And this thing comes in very handy. So this side, this is a Holosun, and it works with almost all of the optics. There are some SIG ones that require an even smaller little piece, but to have this and just have it just retain itself is amazing. So if you've ever been out on the range, needed to adjust your optic, and you have one of these floating around, very easy to lose. So I just have it on this, always know where it is. And moving along, this is just a little multi-tool pocket. I keep a little Leatherman Wave. Always good to have a multi-tool. Plenty of stuff you'll use that for, but pretty self-explanatory. Keep that right in there. Then tourniquet. I think tourniquet's pretty self-explanatory too. Just always right where I need it. Then I have this knife. You'll notice this pattern is a theme of mine. I love this pattern. It's this Poppies of War pattern. This one has a little different color in it, but I love this pattern, so that'll keep coming up. But this is just obviously a knife, and this one is from Ott Gear, and it is sharper than a SOB, and just nice to have right there, easy to reach, and I love it. So one other thing, or probably the thing that I like most about this battle belt, besides the tactical suspenders, is the holster retention system. And holsters, I could make a whole video on just holsters, but swapping out holsters. So I'm usually running this guy, which fits almost all my 2011s. So this is my Atlas Apollo. Fits in there. It does not have retention though. Then you could fit the C2 in there as well. So almost all of my 2011s, with the exception of like 2 of them, fit in this holster. And I got this from Atlas, but it is a Priority 1 holster, light bearing on the X300. So why I have so many X300s is because they work with all my holsters. And so the important part is this piece back here, and it just slides right in, and then you lock it, and then it's on there. It's not coming off, and just right, nice, secure. But you do have to make sure, the only thing with, to take it off, you unlock it, and then you can slide it up and out. And it's only happened to me once, and what I did was something stupid and put it in and didn't realize that I only got the bottom pin in, and then problem with that is it spun. And obviously my gun fell out and hit the ground. So you want to, if you're running this, you want to make sure. But the beautiful thing about it is, okay, I'm running 2011s, got my holster, and okay, now I want to run a Glock 17 holster. So you put that on, lock it, and then you got a Glock 17. So this one is the Terran Tactical Glock 17 Combat Master, and once again X300 works with all these Safarilands. Oh, I want to switch that to a Glock 19. Here's that pattern again, and there you go. So obviously I think you get the gist. You can run a Glock 19. And these Safarilands, these are retention holsters. So obviously if you need your gun not to come out or want to cover the optic up. So this is a Safariland 6365 RDS, and I'm not going to tell you that I know these holsters in and out. I've just labeled them, and they come labeled. That is one thing that I hate about G-code, is I started getting, with the G-code belt, I started getting G-code holsters, and they weren't optic ready, so I had to Dremel them out. And then the thing that drove me the most nuts was they didn't come labeled. There's no engraving or anything on it. So I'd have multiple holsters, and I of course, it was my fault to get them in a similar pattern, but I'd have to go through, what's this to, is this, and just go through gun after gun. That's a side note, obviously. And they weren't light bearing either. So this was very early on. I stopped using G-code holsters a long time ago. I do think they make a good carry holster, or a decent carry holster. It's not what I use anymore, but they're like for outside the waistband battle belt holsters, I stopped using a long time ago. Maybe they've changed it, but at last I looked, they still didn't have optic ready holsters, which in this day and age, I don't understand. But anyhow, back to the belt and this system. I think this is a fantastic system because obviously I have a ton of different guns with a ton of different holsters. So I need a belt that is easily interchangeable. I know Safariland has the little clip version, and I'm not nearly as big a fan of that version as I am of this. So all the G-code stuff, they have med pouches that you can click in here, all sorts of different options. I mean, obviously wouldn't be positioned in this point on your holster, it'd be back here, but I think it's fantastic. All the different guns I have, it is the easiest solution I have found. Once again, always coming back to even this Priority 1 holster being the best for most of the stuff I do, just like shooting videos or just shooting on the range where I'm not worried about retention, because I can run in this and it doesn't fall out. But if I had to, you know, be rolling around on the ground, I'd probably want the Safariland. And so having these where almost 99% of my 2011s work in this Priority 1 holster, can't beat it. And then lastly on the belt is obviously the little shooting compound holder for the Zin. This was a gift. I think this is so cool. So that's just one little touch right there. And that is the battle belt. It does have the leg strap and with the Cobra buckle, and the waist is a Cobra buckle. And if anybody is getting into this and you have the option of Cobra buckle, absolutely, in my opinion, get the Cobra buckle. So Cobra buckle is the best. That is the battle belt. Next up is the plate carrier. This is the plate carrier that I've been using most recently, and this is a very simple setup. I don't have a lot going on here, and I've had, or when I'm standing up in the videos, I have a couple of other plate carriers hanging in the background. Those have been ones that I've used, but this is the one I like right now. And it is a Crye Precision JPC 2. And what I like most about these types of plate carriers, and not specific to the Crye, but these shoulder webbing right here, because when I first got plate carrier, I got a Agilite, and it looked really cool. Had these big shoulders coming over, but then when you go to shoulder your gun, you got all this bulk right here, which I really didn't like. So having these really thin little rubber, I don't even know what the texture or the material is, but it is very good for shooting. in my opinion. So let's go through what I have on this thing. Like I said, it's very simple. I have 2 plates. These are HESCO level 4 plates. They are light. I'll show you. So it's a HESCO plate, level 4, and weighs 5.5 pounds, 5.4 on my scale anyway. And this sappy cut here, which gives you these sharp angles instead of rounding off. It just allows me to have a little more room on the shoulder for me to shoot. These are very thin, and I like these plates a lot. I obviously haven't shot them, but from what I've seen, they're great. They're threat level, you know, level 4, so 7.62 by 39 armor piercing rated, which is nice. If you want to see the rating on there. You know, I have my own labeling down here. Front plate, because the rear one is the same plate. I just label them front and rear. And then 5.4 pounds from my scale. But they're very light for a plate. So they just slide right in, and voila. And then on the back, I have nothing. And I just like to keep it light and slick, and 3 rifle pouches where I can fit 2, and I can fit 2 pistol magazines in here if I want, you know, any configuration of that. And then, as I said in the intro, I am doing a course this week where we're using radios. So I have this, which I ran to here, and this just plugs right in the side here. This goes in this pouch. And that's all she wrote. I will put this on and stand up, but then it runs up to my push to talk up here, and then this wire comes off, plugs in my ear pro, so I can hear and speak through my radio with my ear pro on. So just right in my headset and good to go. So I'll put this on and stand up. So that's with it on. Like I said, very slick, minimal. I have one little knife right here. This is a Benchmade, and just very simple. But if I have this chest, or if I have the plate carrier on, I have my battle belt on, presumably, and I have a knife right there. And then I always have my little Benchmade shootout as well. So I think I'm covered on knives, but the radio, this is kind of the thing that like I said, I don't know. So I'm running it back through here, up the back to right here, where this is plugging in my ear pro, and it may be a little short. This may be something that I have to play with, but until I actually use it, I don't know yet. So if I do, I will report back on what I changed. But this is basically the setup I've enjoyed using the most. Very simple. I used to have a bunch of crap on there. And as you can see, this is the Haley Strategic Thorax that was hanging right here. It's comfortable, but I don't love these as much. They are padded, they're nice. So maybe on extended periods of time wearing that. I'm going to bring this one too, just in case, because who knows, like I said, I'd rather have it and not need it. But if I'm wearing this day 3 and it's just starting to just kill my shoulders, some padding might be nice, but it's a trade-off. So it makes it less comfortable to shoulder the rifle with that. And I'm going to take this off. I had all these phone mounts on here, and then of course, as you know, they changed the phone the next updated iPhone comes out, and now it no longer fits in here. But these things were really cool. Just, they go right in. These are Juggernaut. It's a Juggernaut case, and it's too bad because they are a very cool little option to have. It's a really cool plate carrier. It's just maybe not what I want for what I do most often, which is I'm not wearing this for real long extended periods of time, and these straps are just fine with the ability to shoot better. I'm gonna see how I like this. This radio is feels foreign having it right there in the way, but we'll see how it goes. This might move, but I just wanted to do a video before with my setup, because some of us that are just civilians going into this stuff, you know, you set it up at the house and then you wear it on the range, but I have 0 radio time. So adding something like that is going to be new, and I'm interested to see if I succeeded in setting it up, or in practical application it's just going to cause problems right there. So we'll see. But that's basically it for this one, just going over the base kit for what I do and what I like and how I like to set it up. So please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I'm Jeff for the Weapon Collective, reminding you, keep your weapons collected and keep collecting your weapons. I'll catch you next time.